Welcome to Automotive E, the Startup Finalist session. I'm delighted to welcome everyone this morning, and a special thanks to Johanna and the judges for choosing the winner. So thank you again. I'll now hand over to you, Johanna, to moderate and complete. Thanks very much, but thanks again, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, on mute.
Sorry, not done that before. Apologies, everybody, for being on mute. So thank you, Peter, and thank you, Automotive EV, for giving us this excellent platform to have a new addition to Automotive EV, that is a startup competition. It's been an absolute pleasure, and this is really the highlight of my week, at least. To be able to see the startup finalists present their exciting business ideas. We selected the finalists from a big group of submissions, and not surprisingly, there were many contestants that had solutions around electrification and mobility solutions. The startups that we have chosen have attacked very different problems in the automotive industry. We will see product-related solutions, we will see process improvements, service solutions, and also actually something a little bit health-related. So, as Peter mentioned, my name is Johanna Kriisa. I'm a tech entrepreneur and founder of the management consultancy Kriisa&Co, where I work with companies like McLaren, Infinity, as well as startups, Morris Commercial, Moses, Ward Platform, to mention a few. With me today, I have an eminent judging panel that has both experience from the startup world, the OEM side, and retail. They know a little bit about commercial, as well as engineering and design. And firstly, we have the hugely inspiring Isobel Dandu from Pivotal by Jaguar Land Rover, who I actually had the pleasure of working with before. We have Ian Plummer from Auto Trader, who is not only a great leader, but also a diversity advocate. And finally, we have Robert Melville, one of the most innovative designers I have met from McLaren Automotive. Rob and I actually met and discussed the merits of carrot fiber at one point. So yeah, we have some really interesting paths there. So without further ado, I would like Isobel just to give a few words about herself, and then Ian, and then Rob, and then we will get going.
Hi everyone, and first of all, congratulations for reaching this stage. As Joe has already given me a lovely introduction, as you're aware, I am the managing director at the moment of Pivotal, which is the new subscription service from Jaguar and Land Rover, which was founded just under a year ago. So a startup, but in very much an OEM world. At the same time, in my spare time, I am CEO of a heritage brand called Moke that you may be able to see on my screen right now. Lovely to meet you all.
Can we go next, Johanna? Sorry. So Ian Plummer, and again, thank you, Johanna, for the great introduction, very kind. So my background covers a lot of what Joe said around OEMs. I've worked for 2 or 3 OEMs in international head offices, as well as NSCs, as well as in retailers. But the theme that I've always been interested in most was digital. Joined Auto Trader 3 and a bit years ago, and I'm delighted to, within Auto Trader, get a great insight to the key digital trends that are in the industry. And no prizes for spotting that electrification of the mobility sector in its broadest sense is right up there at the top of the list, I think, right now. So we're doing a lot in that space. I think the industry needs to do a lot in that space, and all the work that you guys are putting in to drive that agenda forward is really great to see, and we're delighted to play our role in supporting you all. So good luck.
Great, Rob.
Okay, right. Well, hi everyone. Robert Melville, design director at McLaren Automotive. My career path has seen me go from advanced design at Jaguar Land Rover through to then advanced design at General Motors, working on all sorts of cars from city projects to land speed record vehicles. And then now at McLaren, where I'm design director, my job is simply to create the vision, inspire the team, lead them, and that's across advanced designs, creation and delivery, for product development, McLaren special operations, and all the merchandising. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to hearing the pitches from yourselves, and good luck.
Great. Then, without further ado, I will ask the first contestant, Electric Mile, to start presenting. I just saw you had some problems with Teams. I hope it's sorted. Can Electric Miles present? Okay. If Electric Miles cannot present, we'll move and start with Elmo.
Okay, I'll present now. So can I just confirm you can see my screen? Great. Okay, so hello, my name's Luke. I'm one of the co-founders of Elmo, the UK's first all-inclusive electric vehicle subscription platform. And I'm really excited today to take you through what we've been up to, what we're trying to achieve, and why we think that's important. I'm going to start off with the team. The team is led by myself and Ollie, who I was actually at school with. My background's always been in energy, and particularly the intersection between the energy and the mobility sectors, whereas Ollie's been fully embedded in the startup world through his roles at Head of Marketing at Asian Investment Network, as well as founding and hosting his own podcast, Startup Microdose. So as first-time and relatively young founders, we recognise the importance of a world-class advisory board, and we're very lucky to have put one together with director-level executives from Tesla, Deliveroo, and EDF. At the same time, we're building an awesome team, which we're really excited about, and hopefully we'll carry on building in the future. So as I'm sure all of the companies here are, we're very proud to be a mission-led company. We think electric vehicles are an amazing technology that have a real potential to make a meaningful impact with carbon emissions. The big question for us is how do we get this technology into as many people's hands as possible, and how do we turn it from an early adopter product into a mass market product? And the solution to that question underpins everything we do at Elmo. So why aren't EVs ready for the mass market yet? So the well-publicized problems with range and public charging access, we think, are largely on their way to being solved. But what's left is EVs are expensive. They are perceived as being complex with tariffs, networks and connectors, and there's an asset risk. Consumers are asking legitimate questions of why they should switch now when there's a better model on the horizon. It's worth noting that for early adopters, this is not a problem at all. They're generally wealthy individuals who love new technology and are very willing to deal with complexity to get it. This is all against a backdrop of a rapidly changing consumer marketplace, which we believe must be factored in with how you're selling these cars to consumers. So the phrase Netflix for cars really annoys me, but it's undeniable that consumer attitudes are changing away from ownership towards access. This aligns with an online first model, and even high value items such as cars are now being seen to start to move online. And lastly, uncertainty. With the millennial generation increasingly moving city, moving abroad, working from home, and this trend is only accelerated by COVID. And the harsh reality is that for many of us, future jobs and future incomes is all but certain. So our solution is an all-inclusive and fully flexible electric vehicle subscription product. So this has no upfront costs, a flexible contract for a flexible life, with the added benefits of a low commitment introduction to electric vehicles, and the complexity is completely removed by an all-inclusive product with everything you need to run the car included in a single monthly package. On top of this, you can add a home charge point, home energy package and public charging to get to this total cost of ownership solution, which really emphasizes the cost benefits of EVs relative to traditional cars. This slide basically sums up what we're about. We're not a short-term leasing company. We're not a kind of convertible in the summer, SUV in the winter subscription platform. Essentially, we don't believe you should pay a premium for flexibility. And as you can see here, when you add up all the costs, we price ourselves very, very competitively against lease deals. And this is the message we engage consumers on, all the benefits of leasing with the added bonus of flexibility. Obviously, we're not the only vehicle subscription company. We're not the only electric vehicle subscription company. In our view, subscriptions are the future. There is a huge market that a lot of players can make gains into. However, we definitely recognise the importance of differentiating ourselves, and we do this in a number of ways. So firstly, we've designed our product from the ground up to be tailor-made for electric vehicles. So whether this is partnerships with energy suppliers, with charge point providers, to get to this total cost of ownership all in one solution, that's something we're very proud of and something that's unique. We're also a carbon neutral company, so we offset all the emissions associated with the manufacturing of our vehicles to make it a carbon neutral subscription scheme. Perhaps most importantly, from a commercial perspective, we're completely tech-led. So everything in our process, the sign-on, the maintenance, the operations, is all online and paperless, and we automate everything that we can, and we'll continue to do that in the future. So some examples of this in practice. This is our suitability tool, which forms a key part of our sales pipeline. So users can go onto our site. It assesses their driving habits through a short interactive questionnaire, and it uses to analyze their suitability for an EV, as well as the cost and charging implications of a range of models, and ultimately a recommendation of which vehicles might fit their lifestyle. So this has been a massive success, and we've had over 5,000 people use this tool to date. Another example is the telematics we install in every car. So this is kind of standard, but what we do with this is quite cool. So we push this back to the user through their online Elmo account, so they can see their miles driven, their trip data, their carbon saved, but most importantly, they get their driver score, which we use to incentivize good driving through gamification, so incentives and rewards and competitions. And what this ultimately means is we have a safer fleet of cars, and with this we look to reduce our insurance premium and then reduce the cost for all our customers. And we really believe this is just the start. Where it gets really excited is when you start added managed charging and smart charging modules to this, and you have your whole EV ecosystem managed through a single touch point that also deals with your car. So where are we in this journey? In autumn last year, we raised a pre-seed round. We spent 2019 building the product, building our user list through the suitability tool, and pulling together our key partners. The start of 2020 saw us trial a soft launch, which has been a massive success for us. This has allowed us to iterate the product and get ourselves into a position where we're now ready to scale up to a fleet of hundreds of cars. The final piece of the puzzle here is finalizing a vehicle finance package, which we are in the process of doing. And that will allow us to do a full launch towards the end of this year. And then on the back of that, we will look to raise a larger round at the first half of next year. For a product like ours, the strength really lies in the strength of its partners. And we're very lucky to pull together world-class partners to account for each component in our subscription bundle. We've also been supported by the Department of Transport and were selected as one of 30 companies as part of the Tech Nation's new Net Zero program, which actually starts next week, which we're really, really excited about. So that's it. Thanks a lot for listening. We're really interested to hear your thoughts and any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Then I'll turn to Isabel. You had a question.
Yeah, I'd say first of all, congratulations on the first pitch, because this is obviously being in the subscription business myself. I find it absolutely fascinating, and I am wholeheartedly with you that this is definitely the future of usership over ownership. One question I do have, and I know that this may not be an issue for the business that I'm in because we're connected to an OEM and a number of brands, but it's even then, it's one of the most difficult pieces to manage in subscription. So you've got what appears to be a lovely technology platform, but the actual underlying assets, I notice on your last page, which you've got some great partners on, have you secured your funding lines, your finance house in order to buy or rent the assets? And then my second question subsequent to that would be, how many brands are you looking to offer on your platform as flexibility? I know from experience people like to switch between brands, go up tiers, down tiers, etc., etc. I'd be interested on those 2 points.
Yeah, so I think as a startup, that's the main challenge, is finding finance for like very expensive assets. We are very close to doing that, and we've kind of been agnostic in the approach. I mean, I know there's a lot of approaches you can take, whether you kind of act as a management company for fleets on behalf of other fleets, or you just finance them on your own balance sheet. We're kind of exploring a lot of different options at that stage. For us, we just want to nail the product as a consumer offering, and the cars we will get however we can. But we are very close to securing finance and through some pretty competitive terms through one OEM. At the moment for us, to fulfill our KPIs, we need to prove that the product works and that consumers like it. So for us, having a sort of array of brands at the moment isn't a priority, but for sure, long term, I think you're exactly right. It's very important to be able to offer different consumer segments the car that they want and allow them to switch. And that would be I guess, phase 2 for us.
Super. So would you see yourself as a technology company, or would you see yourself more as the next generation of vehicle lease or ownership?
To be really honest, I think it's probably too early to say. I think we would like to kind of be both. We're very open to becoming just a full technology management platform. However, we do see a lot of opportunity in doing leasing in a different way. And if we are best placed to fulfill that, after we've maybe had another investment round, if we're best placed to fulfill that, then we'll absolutely go after that. If not, and we're just a technology and management platform, we can also look to scale up that as well. But really now we're just focused on getting that consumer offering as a base, and we can expand from that.
Good. I have one final easy question, I think. Have you had any consumers test it, and what was their feedback?
Yeah, so we had a soft launch in the early 2020, and so we have a trial of 15 cars out on the road now. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. So these are sort of completely flexible contracts, minimum of 3 months. And to date, we haven't had a car handed back, even during the COVID. We've got some great data from their driving habits, from their charging habits, and really excitingly, we're looking to now integrate insurance, which is the last piece of that fully inclusive bundle. So yeah, we've had some really good feedback, and they've been great.
Okay. I know there are a few other questions, but we, unfortunately, looking at the time, have to move to the next one. Thank you so much, Luke, for presenting.
Great. Thanks for listening.
Johanna, I'm back. Electric Miles.
Sorry?
Electric Miles, I'm back. Sorry, I had some issues.
Yeah, Electric Miles is back. Great. Then I'll have Electric Miles presenting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, great. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. So I'm Arun Anand. I'm the founder CEO of Electric Miles. I'm a serial entrepreneur with 15 years experience in the energy sector. Sort of built and delivered a solution for the industry. I mean, 3 years back when I first bought my first electric car, I was struck by high electricity bills and was frustrated about when and how much to charge. And that's where the idea of Electric Miles came in, especially with the market being so big. So today I'm really proud to present our business. So we are a clean tech startup, and we want to make charging seamless and easy with intelligent charging software for EV drivers, fleet operator, and charge point manufacturer. Our platform will ensure you'll always have the right charge in your vehicle at the right time, at the right cost, and at the right carbon impact. We want to make sure we bring the discussion back to why we are electrifying, is to make our world greener. So as we got limited time to pitch our business, I'll keep it short and punchy. To cover this, we're just going to go through the 5 main pillars of any startup. Eventually, we are looking to build a repeatable, scalable, and a profitable startup. So first pillar is the team. When I first started Electric Miles 2 years ago, I wasn't sure how I'm going to build this, but today I'm very confident due to the team we have. We have a great mix of young and old. I'm the old one. Passionate and experienced around energy, software, and product development and venture building, and a great mix of personality. We are already working on 4 different time zones, and proud to say working very effectively. The second one is market-wise. I think it's an easy sell. No one can deny EVs are here to stay. Keeping the challenge whether EVs, actually OEMs are able to deliver these numbers, but the numbers are big enough that we need a solution. From 330,000 in the UK today to 9 million in 2030 to 20 million in 2050, we know that we need a solution. In terms of stringent regulation on fleet and government net zero 2050 target, all are here to sort of support the sort of EV transition. But with this amazing market comes problem, right? I think the massive problem is going to come on the energy side. That too, is the energy going to be clean enough, or are we just shifting carbon? I mean, 80% of today's EV charging is on demand and dumb, leading to sort of uncapped bills. I think we're going to have 30% increase in the peak demand. So although EV charging will cause an increase in the overall energy, electrical energy, the greater challenge lies in where and how much are we going to do this charging. And we need a solution today before this problem becomes unsolvable. And we really need to educate our drivers and bring in new processes. So we strongly believe that this needs to be solved through technology, and that's why Electric Miles have been researching in this area over the last 2 years, and we're excited to launch our product, our app, which is going live for EV drivers, and we're going to also have a product for fleet operators. So using our app, EV drivers can save costs through automated charging, tariff switching to the lowest available tariff, journey and route management to integrate your personal and business calendar to make sure we charge how much in terms of how many miles are you doing, especially during COVID times when our schedule are all over. And finally, we are able to make some money out of their asset through flexibility sale. In terms of how we work, we are completely software. We are hardware agnostic. We can connect to EVs and chargers wirelessly through our patent pending technology. We then monitor and optimize the charge through real-time data when we machine learn and understand the user's pattern and then automate the charge. So for a user, you come home, plug in your car and go and watch Netflix. We'll take care of your charging experience. We also have a product on the fleet charging. I think that's the cash cow. That's the bigger problem we're really out there to solve. Where again, our software integrates with your fleet diaries and grid constraint and really optimize your charge based on the sort of available load. These are some of the product screenshots we have, and we obviously don't have time to go through it, but right from dynamic load management, fleet management, and to the whole economic analysis of when to start and stop the charge sort of seamlessly. And some of the benefit our proprietary software can achieve is we can confidently say we can give you 40% savings against traditional charging method, right from 1,000, if you drive 1,000 miles, your charging could be anywhere between 60 to 80 pounds. We can bring that down considerably with the power of automation. And for fleet operators, it will be a lot more avoiding business interruption. And on top of that, incremental revenue from DSR payment and some reward scheme. So this is how we're going to head the grid. We are one of the few registered and contract winning sort of EV aggregator in the UK. With the power of our business model, we have secured 8 megawatt of DSR flexibility already to do V1G with UK Power Net 1 and WPD. I think we can make about 150 pounds per driver. So we are opening up revenue channel where other businesses are still trying to figure out the benefit case. These are some of the pricing tiers. Again, single product, multiple revenue stream is our aim. We can even white label the app, or we got the intelligent charging software going live, and then we got the commercial product as well. In terms of our vision is big. We want to be the central charging nervous system for EVs and home energy management, and eventually be that Internet of Energy business. We are already on our way to achieve with 3 of the vision, with domestic charging, with Project EV collaboration, demand side flexibility, and off-grid energy, who are doing some amazing batteries on the go. We're going to do micro-grid charging for them. So yeah, our vision is there, and we want to achieve UK's 2050 target. Some of the major achievement traction is really important. We are really excited for a young startup. We're honored to achieve so much. We raised our seed funding round. We are able to connect to Tesla, BMW, Jaguar through the platform. We've secured some contracts, and we've now got a channel partner agreement with Project EV, where our app is going to deploy to 5,000 to 6,000 of their EV drivers. And we also signed some grid flexibility contract with off-grid. Finally, on our growth plan, we want to achieve our product market fit and then get to that 10,000 monthly recurring revenue by sort of 2021. our projection is we'll generate about 20 million revenue by 2025 with 200,000 users on our platform. And obviously we want to scale, and the beauty of the SaaS model is we are able to scale. We want to prove at home, improve our software capability, build a model here which we can repeat, scale, and be profitable around the world. We're already speaking to some companies in the US for some pilots later on this year. And finally, guys, I just want to play a short video. Hopefully, John, I'm still on time. So this is our product which is going live with Project TV.
Okay, I think we need to come to an end right about now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I can take some questions.
Great. Let me then start off. I saw that you're working towards B2C and B2B. Going forward, which do you think will be your most important channel?
I think there's opportunity and problem to be solved on the both end. I mean, we got EV drivers who are scaling up and they are kind of unsure and confused about the charging, and they're going to see their energy bills going up. So there's definitely a problem to solve there. But on the fleet side, not only on the charging problem, there's issue with the network constraint. We know that the grid is not ready to have so much electrification happening at the same time. So as I said, it's a single product, multiple model, and several revenue stream is what we're aiming for.
How you mentioned that you have some initial pilots. Are those pilots with B2C or B2B?
So the product which is going live is the B2C through a channel partner agreement with the charge point manufacturer, and we signed up another pilot with the B2B business who've got off-grid, who basically got batteries on the wheel, and we're gonna charge their batteries as well as EVs overnight. So charge at lower spends and off-peak time, and be able to sell at high at sort of peak times to the customer, and again take them away from the grid. So it's kind of making sure we are helping the drivers, and on the other side helping the grid as well.
Rob?
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. I just wanted to ask you, what do you sort of forecast as the largest block that you can see ahead regards implementing your product or service, like the software essentially?
I think it's because we are completely a software player, we still want to integrate with the hardware. So we have designed our software in a way that we want to make it open source so that we can play with other manufacturers, other charge point manufacturers. I know there is an OCPP standard, but what we are seeing is a lot of people are drifting away from the standard, which means that it's getting a bit increasingly challenging to integrate. But with our sort of software capabilities, we think we can solve that problem. But I would hope the industry comes together and sticks together and follows the standard, which will make it easy for businesses to integrate. So I think the challenges on connectivity, the challenges also on the data from the OEM side. I would love if OEM can make their APIs available for companies like us who are looking to, again, sort of help. I think it's not about like competition. It's really about, are we able to help the driver? Are we able to help this transition, and are we able to help the grid? So data availability and sticking to standard is sort of two things I hope the industry comes together.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Sharon, and thank you for presenting. Then I would like to move to Days. Do we have days ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, it's all good.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. I'm Lorenzo from Days Technology. So this is the topic that I will talk about during the presentation. So starting from the first one, mobility in the next years. In these years, the automotive industry is moving towards 4 main megatrends, that is electrified, connected, share, and autonomous driving. So a brief summarize about the EV charging today. The EV charging today is mainly done by the use of an uncomfortable cable that most of the time is long, dirty, heavy, anesthetic, and always subject to vandalism. Also, we have the charge anxiety. So one of the big concerns for electric cars owners is to have the car out of energy when needed. So maybe they can forget to charge the car when they stop to drive. Another thing that this EV charging today is not suitable for autonomous driving. So this is why we are developing DatesPlug. DatesPlug could be the solution for the electric charging in the future. DatesPlug is an automatic charging system. It's ready to charge. So actually, DatesPlug is a prototype, but the last version of our prototype it's work. We use it every day in our company, and we are testing every day. The DatesPlug, this module is composed by 2 modules. One is on the floor, like in this picture, and the other one has to place under the car. The module on board is robust and light, and is completely sealed, ensuring the protection of contacts from the water and dust. How does it work? When you are parking the car, you have only to park over the DatesPlug, and the DatesPlug connect in a very autonomous way. So you don't need a precise parking because its working area is more than 50 centimeters of diameter. And also it's protected by PCT international patent. Which is the comparison about first of all, we know that DatesPlug is not only one charging the car in autonomous way. There is also induction, but the key point of DatesPlug that is not an induction charger, but is a conductive. This is the difference, because with induction, like a normal wireless charger, you don't need to have the cable. Instead of the cable, you'd have to plug it into the car. But DatesPlug combine the positive thing of induction charging also with the conduction. So, for example, with DatesPlug, you can charge at high power, and it's not dangerous because it doesn't create dangerous magnetic fields. While wireless charging, with a wireless charger, you can't charge at higher power, and also you lose efficiency. The company was founded in 2016 by 2 mechanical engineers, Andrea Daminelli and Giacomo Zenoni. And this we show in slide are the key points of the company. So I want to underline in December 2019 the collaboration with NGPS, that is an energy provider, starts. The team is a strong point. All of us, we have a background in engineering field, and we are excited to develop the possible charger of the future, and we are excited also to promote electric mobility. We made not only DatesPlug, but we already done a first generation of product that is DatesPlug, that is a normal wall box that can charge in single phase or in mono phase up to 22 kilowatt with a load balance system that we call dynamic power management to solve the problem to charge a car at home. Easy Wallbox is a project that we developed with NGPS. Easy Wallbox is the new charging solution for plug-in and hybrid electric cars made exclusively for Fiat Chrysler automobilists. EV Post is another project, is an important project because it's the first in the world that is a vehicle to grid. So the charger the power flows from the grid to the car, to the battery car, and also can flow from the battery to treat. We pursue quality in all of our action, and also for this we made many certification. Next generation of product, we hope that will be Dates Plug. Current situation, actually, we has become a member of Charin, that is an association with the aim to decide the standard of the socket that have to be installed under the car. After that, that IC will draft a standard, and then all the car maker will be able to adopt our solution with Copter or other. But to do this, we need a standard, a plug standard, a socket standard to be installed under the car. They support us. We develop all by ourselves with the support of this company, and GPS and Enelix that are energy provider, and also the University of Bergamo. Proof of concept, we are testing Dates Plug not only in our company but also in the headquarters of Finalists, an Italian company, and also in Profit, that is in Politecnico in Milano, that is the most complex microgrid ever developed. And that's it.
Thank you very much for that, Lorenzo. That was a great presentation. I will open up the questions and then my fellow jurors will probably jump in. But I have a very basic question. What is the charge time of this, and what is your estimate of the cost that this will have, if you get one?
It's not so easy to define the cost because it depends in the phase of industrialization, but we think around €2,000 per device, and the time of charging it depends of the power grid, the power that you put in the car. So actually the Dates Plug can charge up to 20 kilowatts in 3 phases, but maybe in the future can charge at much more velocity. And also it depends of the capacity of the battery, because if you have a much bigger battery, of course the time to charge completely the battery increase.
Ian?
Thank you for the presentation. I think it's a fascinating concept, but I don't quite understand how the logistics of the unit actually works, how it's fixed and where it goes, where it stays, how you move it around, what's required there. Could you explain a bit more?
About the position of the device and the socket under the car?
Yes, and how you get it there, how it needs to be positioned when you're charging, and yeah.
Okay. You don't need a precise position, because the Dates Plug, the module in the ground, you have to place it. You have to place the device on the ground, and when you want to park, you simply have to park the car over it, and you have a 50 centimeter of diameter of working area. So it means that to center the right position, you have to park at least. To not center the precise position, you have to park at least 2 meters of the parking. So it's quite impossible to not center the parking area. And also the module off board communicates with the module installed on the car, and automatically center the socket under the car and connects.
Thanks.
Rob?
Yeah, hi there. Really interesting presentation again. I think for me, how are you working with the OEMs to define the packaging of the system within the actual car itself? So they either leave room so you can include your add-on, your plug-in component.
Actually, we are working, we have started a collaboration more or less 1 month ago with a car maker. And the module on board is very light. So this is why it's not a problem to put under the car. So actually we are working to do it as small as is possible.
So in terms of package space dimensions, do you plan to share that with eventually all OEMs, and hope that they work with your system?
How they work with our system?
Well, to package it, because as we design a car, we need to know all the major package spaces, envelopes. So as you go into more and more sports cars, supercars, how you design and integrate these components in, the balance of the car, centre of gravity, etc. You run out of space the more towards a supercar or sports car you go, or even a city car, as space is a value. So clearly it's quite small anyway, but obviously you need to share the thinking with the OEM so they can prepare the space to integrate it.
Yeah, actually the car maker that we are working with, they are thinking about the solution to integrate and to create the space. But we think, and also they think, that it will be not a problem, because this space that needed for this solution is 2 centimeters 8 and 10 centimeters of length. So it's very small, and also we don't need a particular connection between the module on board and the battery. Is only 2 cables.
Yeah, that's good. And I think as well, if you can show how much space you save by not having to have the regular plug sockets, etc., potentially, you know, in time you can show the delta or the gain, etc. So yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorenzo. Then I will move to pressing time here. Umassi.
Thank you, Johanna. Let me just make sure. For some reason, I can't share. Is the previous share off? Sorry. I'm having an issue. Should we just move on to the next one and then I'll come back to me, please? Sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Let's move
Thank you.
to the next one. Airband.
Hello, I'm Anton from Airband, and I'm here with my co-founder Dave.
Hi. We'll just get the presentation up.
Yep.
So we're, I think, a slightly different pitch here. We're more health tech focused, and this is also not our investor pitch deck, which I think is what a lot of the other guys have been presenting. So you guys can send that. You sort of seen it earlier. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Does it work?
It's doing something.
Can everyone see?
Yes.
It's starting to come. Yeah. Great. You can go, guys.
This is the wrong. Has it got all the stuff?
I can see it now.
Okay, fine. All right. So we all know how widespread the air pollution problem is. No doubt you've all seen the media reporting on the smog in Beijing, or the incredible improvement in air quality over the coronavirus lockdown period. And the WHO has already made it very clear that air pollution is a threat to be taken seriously. Putting aside the environmental damage it causes, they say it accounts for 43% of cardiovascular disease fatalities, 29% of those for lung cancer, and 25% of those from heart disease. Annually, that's 4.2 million deaths worldwide and 36,000 in the UK alone. And governments around the world are also committed to long-term pollution reduction strategies. So in the West, we have zero emissions transport strategies, and for China, they have an anti-smog tower, amongst other things. And Airband, which is us, are trying to complement these strategies with short-term actionable solutions, such as intelligent routing, which you'll hear about later. For this, though, we need a better monitoring infrastructure. Right now, pollution is only mapped either on a macro scale or in a specific area as part of isolated studies. Just look at the genuine London pollution map you see here. There is very little detail, and there is no integration with traffic levels or weather conditions. Entire areas have no data, such as Hammersmith and Fulham, Kensington and Chelsea, as you can see here. In Westminster, one of the most densely populated areas of London, there are only 7 data points. And it gets worse. In rural areas, the coverage doesn't exist, or if it does, it's just provided voluntarily by amateur meteorologists. Without data, we can't even begin to tackle this problem in the short term. So businesses are also increasingly affected by pollution in the work environment. CO2 sensors and complex air quality monitors are now routinely installed in factories and offices, and employees are becoming more aware of the invisible dangers in the air they breathe. So recent research from DEFRA shows that productivity losses due to poor air quality apparently cost the UK £4.9 billion every year. And this is how we can help.
So to combat the air quality monitoring issue, we have created the Airband. The Airband is a simple, unobtrusive wearable device, the form of a large bracelet or a small smartwatch, and it measures air pollutions in the air throughout the day and is able to provide a personalized history of air pollution for any user. The device uses its built-in sensors to detect the quality of the air, as well as environmental factors such as temperature and humidity. This data is sent across to an app, where it is processed using our AI technology, and periodically the data is also uploaded to our server, which allows us to build an accurate, granular pollution map of an entire area. The user is able to view both their own data, showing where and when they've encountered pollution, and pollution in the surrounding area, as you can see on the renders there, providing information on pollution hotspots and just general pollution conditions. To reduce the impact of pollution, there are a number of features designed to be simple and easy to use. In addition to the map of the area, users can receive alerts and pollution data directly on their home screen using Apple's new widgets or through notifications. Push notifications alert users to when they're in a high pollution zone and should put on a mask, or when their exposure to pollutants over time has passed a certain level. Information on pollutants, their impacts, and how they can be minimized is provided in-app. And finally, our smart route planning tool uses pollution data to suggest alternative routes for you with reduced pollution for running, cycling, or commuting to help keep you safe. Our device is unique in that it is wearable, affordable, and unobtrusive. Existing devices require a large sensor to be carried around with the user, or other solutions include large and expensive stationary monitors. By using artificial intelligence, we're able to enhance smaller and cheaper sensors, and we're able to combine data collected from users as well as existing background data to paint our pollution map. For businesses which may leave employees vulnerable to high levels of air pollution, such as those in the industries of construction or manufacturing, we have developed a special package to maximize Airband's functionality. Each employee is provided with an Airband device and will be able to use it in their daily lives as well as at work. This will bring tangible benefits to their health, happiness, and productivity. However, the business package offers much more than that. The data for each user is collected in a single business dashboard, which provides insights to every employee's exposure on the job and keeps track of any health conditions that may make them more vulnerable to certain pollutants. It also provides an accurate, granular, real-time pollution map of any work locations, such as factories or construction sites. This makes it easy to take action against any source of pollution or leaks long before stationary monitors would be able to pinpoint them. The dashboard also provides notifications and alerts to help keep every employee's exposure within healthy levels, and has easy suggestions such as shift scheduling to reduce exposure where possible. Best of all, this can be managed by a single person, no matter how large the workforce is. As a further part of our offering to businesses, we're more than happy to provide bespoke solutions, including custom software or different sensor kits to fit your needs and workflow. Investing in an Airband package will have clear returns in terms of productivity and satisfaction for your workforce. Through managing exposure, employees will also improve their health, particularly over time, making them much less vulnerable to diseases or lung cancer. Your business's reputation as a sustainable, employee-focused company will also be strongly improved, not only through the ostensible protection of your employees, but also by the support of a sustainability-focused startup such as us.
So at the moment, our product is still in development. So we're looking to find a few early adopters who'd be interested in not only using the product, but also to help shape it for the future. We're currently on track to deliver in January of next year, and the price we can offer to such early adopters is £40 per device, with a monthly subscription fee of just £1.80, covering software updates, and analytics. However, this is not a solid price, and we are able to reach bespoke agreements which fit your specific needs. And we'd also be willing to negotiate with prospective clients who issue a statement of intent to sign a contract when development is complete. So looking forward, and I guess this is more relevant to an automotive pitch, we recognize a potential future application to this technology. Not only will it help protect people's health and reduce exposure to air pollution, but by investing in more sensors, such as those placed directly on cars, both inside and outside, we can leverage our powerful IoT network to create an international picture of air pollution at a scale far greater than anything done before. This would greatly support the consumer rollout of our technology, which we're aiming to achieve in 2023. So we think the future will bring much more challenge for humanity, but tackling air pollution is crucial to both climate and human health. And to do so, we need to have a much better understanding of it. And Airband serves to empower people, companies, and entire countries to understand and fight against air pollution. And it all starts in their daily lives and in their places of work. Thank you very much. We can take any questions now.
Thank you very much, guys, for that presentation. I will now hand over to the jury for any questions.
Am I okay to jump in with a question, Joe? Hi guys, I think that was a great presentation, and I think the idea is very much of the moment, as people in particular post-COVID are increasingly bothered about health, well-being. It's definitely on the agenda from a personal and I think from an employer perspective as well. Out of interest, in terms of the application to automotive, have you guys already taken a look at what sensors are already integrated on vehicles? I think there's already lots of crash, pollen, all kinds of sensors on the vehicle. So I'm just wondering, you know, the applicability to automotive and how that's been thought through.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, the automotive market's only one of our focuses, but we have looked at the technology that's already in place. And I think the real value that we can provide, and maybe we're wrong here, but we haven't seen anything that combines data from all these different sensors and can produce actual insights from it. So something like a pollution map, which could inform commuters who are walking as well, which would be if we gather all the data from these individual points on a map, and therefore we have a map that would vary over both location as well as time. So a bit like what Google do with their traffic, or TomTom with their traffic API, you could do with pollution data. And I think that's really what the value for us is, rather than the individual sensors.
And
okay, so it's the application of the software layer and the data play over potentially hardware that already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, we're coming in from the perspective of an outside company that collects data that will be able to collect data across any model of car. So if Mercedes put sensors on their own car, that's data for them. But we'll be collecting data from every manufacturer, making it much more valuable together.
Hi there, guys. It's Rob. I have a question, or really an idea. So in concept, it's essentially ways for pollution. Mm-hmm. It's a network, a way of gathering as much information, compiling it together so you get the full detailed map. So how, in terms of the wearable, this is more of a suggestion actually than a question, but I think regards the wearable, which could be very polarizing, I think the key is to find a way of getting people to adopt it, whether it's a different form of wearable within like a jacket, etc., or you talk to phone companies and get them to integrate it as part of the devices, maybe. But I think as a concept and relevance, yeah, absolutely, as Isabel said, it's absolutely at the moment, and I think it's here to stay. It's more of a movement than a trend. So yeah, very relevant.
Yeah, I mean, we found that actually for such a movement, there's not that many companies who are trying to tackle this sort of problem, and I completely agree with you about the challenges of making users put yet another thing on their wrist. So obviously, you know, the plan is to offer it in as many different forms as possible. And that's one of the reasons we're approaching businesses first, because it's far easier to say, okay, you know, you wear this whilst you're at work in the work environment, and then after that, it's optional. So it allows people to, what it guarantees us that users for a certain period of time.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
I'd just echo quickly the same points. I was going to ask the same question around really how you'd scale quicker, because I think people will be reluctant to put another wristband on. You know, you used to have wristbands in many more cases for, you know, steps and so on. That's overtaken now by the use of the same technology in smartphones. But then equally, I'm thinking about your business angle. That was my second point, and you touched on that a minute ago. I think business focus will be probably the better one to go for to begin with. There's a sort of sense of corporate social responsibility and employee welfare that I think will be strongly to the minds of employers to safeguard their employees. So you've covered that one too. So well done, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we move to Umassi. You're muted, Cindy, I think.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Umassi is looking to revolutionize the supply chain due diligence processes across industries by creating a due diligence decentralized service. And I'll get into the how in a bit. So Umassi is Zulu for to know her. What makes us unique is Umassi is built on distributed ledger technology. We're facilitating a more secure way to share sensitive data that can be added to the Umassi platform once, but repurposed many times. Umassi's mission is to give businesses and clients assurance of their transactions through standardized global due diligence with shareable pre-validated checks, cryptographically secured on distributed ledger technology. The automotive industry is subjected to rigorous, complex, multi-dimensional regulatory framework. This makes the supplier due diligence and verification cumbersome and non-transferable. Suppliers today send multiple overlapping documents and data to multiple manufacturers to facilitate similar checks. This process is inefficient. Some data required in different formats for similar reasons. It's limitless, repetitive due diligence and increased manufacturing scrutiny. It's costly. The National Association of Manufacturers estimates that due diligence to be between $1.2 and $25 million per company, within an industry-wide total of about $16 billion. It's also isolated, no structure, no standard. The overall paper trail and due diligence is endless and deep dives into every detail, including the shipping company, the forwarders, and resellers, to name just but a few. Umassi solves this problem by sharing supplier due diligence results amongst market participants. Supplier due diligence credentials are validated by authorized network participants. The manufacturers are presented with verified and validated supplier credentials. This avoids duplication in a standardized manner, as suppliers input the data once to comply with, example, supplier sustainability standards, due diligence requirements. The validated data is then provisioned by the supplier for distribution to authorized parties. In the example of Mercedes-Benz due diligence process, the supplier completes 2 questionnaires for Mercedes-Benz to identify any sustainability risks. The questionnaires are reviewed and in some cases supplemented with site visits. This might lead to suggested improvement measures. Umassi can automate more than half of this process, from questionnaires to risk summary to logging and validation of remedial action for the future due diligence processes. Umassi addresses this inefficiency in the supplier due diligence through the provision of validated supplier certification and relevant documents regardless of jurisdiction and regardless of regulation. The supplier due diligence identity is enhanced with every due diligence process and check. Umassi supports a remote due diligence process that is cost and effort efficient. It's streamlined, that presents real-time relevant data to help reduce risk collaboratively. By building Umassi on Corda, an enterprise-grade next-generation blockchain platform that enables transparency and security and efficiency in business processes. As probably the youngest startup presenting here today, we have actually accomplished a lot in the past few months. Our backend platform is 90% complete. We've signed our first client with whom we are collaborating on the front-end development. We are in the process of raising funds to focus on our product build-out, marketing and sales to ensure we reach our goal of launching our first pilot in the new year. We're also working very closely with the government to ensure that Umassi aligns with the UK's digital strategy that is based on the World Economic Forum toolkit. As a female-led startup, we are both diverse in name and representation. Our team consists of compliance industry experts to disruptive tech. I met my co-founder while working at a previous blockchain startup. We share a vision in revolutionizing data sharing in a collaborative manner. We are being advised by a respected industry expert with both regulatory and startup experience. We thank you for your time today. For more information, please feel free to visit us at umassi.io.
Thank you very much for that, Cindy. I think I will hand over to Isabel for a question.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Cindy, for a great presentation. And well done after having technical issues. It's never comforting, is it, when you've got technical issues? But well done.
No, it's fine. Thank you. Yes.
My question is about your two questions actually. The first is your go-to-market strategy. So I think it's an interesting technology. I think it's very clear that where the benefits are, it's how you're going to penetrate into those very large, painful OEM organisations that we all either work or have worked for, and how you plan to tackle that. And then the second is the application to other industries and whether you've thought about that through the scaling topic.
Yeah, so sure. The go-to-market strategy is actually a question I get quite regularly. It's an interesting one because it's a gamble between getting people comfortable with the tech as well as being able to break into some of the other industries. And I'm going to answer your second question at the same time. I actually come from the finance industry. So my experience is implementing regulations with financial institutions. So I know the inside out of a financial institution. But we actually started, our first client is a reputable law firm in South Africa. So being based in London, a client in South Africa, we're also in discussions with a potential second client, which is based in Germany, completely different industry. So we're already tackling the topic of different industries through our approach of potential clients, but also through our experience. And in terms of the go-to-market strategy, just branching out, because yes, Umassi's success will lie in its network effect, is we are with the current client discussing with them how we can bring in some of their friendly clients, if I can call them that. So the friendlies to then pilot with Umassi. It will be the same with the second client that we're signing. And through that process, we can create a small joint collab with the law firm as well as the second client to create a network effect. We're hoping and anticipating that through that collaboration, it would spread the word and we will become more sticky. The more stickier we are, the easier the process is, word gets out fairly, fairly quickly. But also because we're working closely with the government, because we're actually sitting in on the UK government FinTech roundtable review, is we are spreading the word from the government side, but also getting the government to understand where there are strong stumbling blocks as well as struggles to break into this market, which they are very keen to see a progression in.
Thank you.
So that answers your question.
Yeah.
Quick question, Ian.
Yeah, just quickly though, but following a little bit from what Isabel was saying, OEMs are slow. Procurement departments in OEMs are, you wouldn't believe how slow. Yep. So going through that route is going to be particularly painful. And you mentioned some of the big players. You've got the national bit, the international bit. It's really quite tricky. I think you'll need to be really clear on the value story that you're going to propose to those guys in order to get them to shift fast. Have you got a clear sort of elevator pitch about what that would be?
Yes, we do. But again, I'm going to fall back on my experience that I've had in the past, is both working in the finance industry, but also the startup experiences that I've had, is implementing with different organizations. One of the key points that I've seen that a lot of startups stumble across is they don't check that they've got the right stakeholders that they're facing to. Often, especially in the finance industry, you think that the right route to go into an organization is through their disruptive tech department, but actually it's probably the end user as well as the procurement department. So I've kind of learned some of those lessons from working in the finance industry, but also working as a startup, as a vendor. And I'm going to hone in on those skills to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes.
Great. I think we have unfortunately run out of time to ask more questions to Cindy, but thank you very much for the presentation and answers, Cindy.
Thank you for having me.
Then I'll move on to Cap Solar.
Hi everyone. Share my screen. Do you see it well? All right. So hi everyone, I'm Sami, the co-founder and CEO of Cap Solar, where we build solar panels for cars, and starting with low-speed electric vehicles. These small electric vehicles are everywhere, from golf clubs to micro-transit services, hotels, airports, and the list goes on. They represent a market of around $2.4 billion in North America. But they do have their problems. 76%. That's the ratio of non-renewable energy that is used to recharge these vehicles in North America. $125 million per year is the amount spent in the whole North American market to recharge these vehicles every year. And $150 million per year is the amount spent to swap the batteries of these vehicles, which die off pretty frequently. Finally, 280 million kilometers is the distance a traditional gas vehicle should travel each year to emit zero emissions equivalent to these battery swaps. These vehicles are therefore really expensive for companies owning them, but even more expensive for the environment. And this is where Cap Solar comes in play. The first solar module exclusively designed for low-speed electric vehicles. Here you can see the first prototype, our minimum viable product, we developed as an undergrad mechanical engineering final year project. And you can see it's pretty simple to use. You install a solar module on top of the vehicle and a simple charge controller, maximum power point tracking, optimizes the battery charging cycle. Together, this system allows us to boost the range of these vehicles by more than 25%, maximizing their on-road time, to lower maintenance costs on the lifetime of the vehicle by more than $9,000 through fewer battery swaps and lower charging costs. And finally, through its eco-friendly image, it allows to attract a larger client base to the companies or having fleets of these vehicles. All of this thanks to solar energy, which is 100% clean. But if it works that well, why hasn't anyone done it yet? Well, some tried, such as PowerFM Solar, for example, with their low performance and really expensive solar module, solar drive, mid performance but super expensive solar module, and Polaris, good performance but excessively expensive solar module. And they all do the same mistake. They apply technologies intended for residential use to vehicles. The result is super low cost efficiency. But what we do at CapSolar is optimize the use of solar energy for vehicles by using a different form factor of solar panels through patentable technologies we developed ourselves. And the result is super high performance solar module sold at a more than reasonable price. In terms of indirect competitors, these are the main players. But they all work on the same concept, solar integration. It does work, but it comes with one major flaw. It needs to create a new market of solar vehicles instead of investing on already existing big markets, such as the low-speed electric vehicle North American market, such as what we do at CapSolar. It represents around 220,000 vehicles, and at $2,000 per module, an open market for us of $440 million, expected to grow to $870 million in 2025. And this market is only to start. But it's already pretty big, and to attack it with full force, we built the CapSolar team. 2 passionate and brilliant mechanical engineers, accompanied by our board of advisors of international renown in their industries. Regarding my expertise in solar energy, one experience that allowed to refine it for myself is my internship at Prévost of Volvo Group, where I developed by myself a solar add-on accessory for their buses, which allowed them to save more than $150,000 per year. They really liked the project and therefore are our partners of CapSolar, accompanied by all of these. Altogether, they allowed us to reach the level we are at today and to generate an initial traction on the market. First, with Gulf Saint-François in Montreal, where we realized our first pilot project, which lasted the last 3 months and which yielded impressive results. Indeed, our solar module for the first month of the testing allowed their vehicle to be charged only once through the grid instead of every night like they would normally do. In parallel, we interested other golf clubs such as Rowden in Montreal, golf cart manufacturers such as Next in British Columbia. But even more interesting than that are the microtransit services. For example, Cirque in Florida, with which we started our second pilot project, actually just yesterday, and with which we are planning a third pilot project in collaboration with the Quartier de l'Innovation de Montreal in Montreal to help allow the city becoming a safer and cleaner environment to live in. After that, we are working on another project with ECAB in Texas, in collaboration with the NREL and the US Department of Energy, which are 2 extremely important figures in the industry. All of this combined totals to potential orders of around $390,000 for our first year of operation. But our adventure just begun. 5 months ago, we were a team of engineers working in a lab with absolutely no knowledge in business and no clients. And today we got there. Actually, we were just there yesterday. But what we want to do is to get there, and more precisely, there within the next 5 years. But to do so, we need support. We need support from automotive EV, like today, from Kriisa&Co. We need support from as much partners and sponsors as possible. We need support from people believing in our vision of attacking the whole ground transportation market, from buses to hybrid vehicles and to fully electric passenger vehicles, to ultimately create a new standard and revolutionize the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sami. And also, I just want to point out to the audience here, Sami's actually calling in from Canada, so well done this early in the morning to keep it straight. So I'll hand over. Isabel, you had a question.
Yeah, my question was really about the design. You know, this is technology that is quite clearly almost like an accessory that's added onto vehicles that have already been built. How are you thinking about making that transition from this being completely integrated in a design? And sorry, Rob, this is more your area. And this is no offence, without the kind of clumsy aftermarket solution.
So basically meaning, why go on add-on instead of integrating into the vehicle?
Yeah.
That for me will be basically the future in a few years from now. Most companies will start working into integrating into vehicles. But to start, we cannot start directly into integrating into vehicles first, because it's more expensive. For example, integrating solar panels, such as the ones we built into golf carts, for example, will be way too expensive for our clients. And because it basically means we will need to create new vehicles or work together with OEMs to create new vehicles that are already integrated with our product. But what we do is attack a market already existing and exponentially growing the day by day of electric vehicles, either low speed or traditional fully electric passenger vehicles. So that's what we want to do. We want to start by creating add-ons that you can add to any type of vehicle. And then eventually we consider working in collaboration with companies interested in the project.
And in terms of the actual engineered product, is this could this in the future be structurally part of the structural integrity of the car? Like I think about batteries, you know, their weight bearing, or is this more meant as a film that is going to be layered over products?
It's going to be either integrated directly into the structure, but it's going to also be kind of a film that's covering the roof of the vehicle, for example. It basically depends on the photovoltaic, the solar energy tech used. There are different variations of solar techs, and either can be developed in a way different than the other one.
Somebody needs to mute. Oh, somebody, yeah, thank you. Two quick questions, Ian and Rob, you both have. We are tight on time.
Ian, do you want to go?
No, after you.
All right, thank you. Okay, I think a similar challenge today's, and I think Isabel touched on it, which is integration to the OEMs, but absolutely get your strategy phase one aftermarket approach, essentially, because it allows you to trial, test, build confidence and proof of concept, etc. But I think as you develop it for the OEMs, consider compound curvature, dual curvature, because then we can integrate it. I think the idea is really interesting, and it's something which I've seen in many transport design projects from university days, from years and years back. And that's not to devalue, I just think it's really relevant, and it's something there's a real desire to do. Think about aircraft, maybe, you know, as well. I think you're always above the clouds more than you are below it. So it could be a good route for you as well. And I'm, again, sorry, I can't help it, but I found it quite inspiring sort of idea and potential in there. So yeah, good.
Thank you. Well, for me, it's like the right time to start working on projects around this subject, because solar energy is getting really cheaper by the day and more efficient, and electric vehicles are becoming more and more popular. So basically combining both together will be a logical way.
I think that's the key thing, integration though. That's your challenge.
Yeah.
Quick one, ROI. When you've worked with your pilot sites at the moment, what are you expecting them to get in terms of the return on investment? It's quite a chunky price, so how quickly do they get there?
Actually, in terms of ROI, we're actually faster than residential applications. In the US, for example, the average ROI for residential installations of solar energy are around 8 to 9 years. And in our case, what we have calculated is around 2.5 years, which is really pretty good for solar energy, because we save on battery swaps, and batteries are really extremely expensive. And these companies swap their batteries between 1 to 4 years, and we can almost double the cycle.
Last one. Do you have plans to work with maybe glazing manufacturers such as Pilkington, etc.?
Glazing, you mean actual glass?
Yeah, automotive. Because I think that's the key. So I'm just interested in what avenues you have planned or you have within your strategy to go out and try and make this happen in a more integrated way?
If you want, we did consider this, but we're not, like, there are so much options that if we start considering everyone and like.
Okay, which are your key ones? Which ones are you
them.
considering then?
Yeah, that's it. We're considering each one, but for now we're starting with concentrating on add-ons, and we'll see how it gets together.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I have to cut it. It seems like we have lots of questions to Sami, but considering the time, thank you so much, Sami, for that, and the jurors for all the questions. Now I'm going to hand to Handel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Handel?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Let me close this. Sorry, guys, I have to call you from an airport, so I'm just going to pull up the presentation here. One moment. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So welcome, everyone. I'd love to see you all face to face, but unfortunately, I can't take off my mask for safety reasons, and I best avoid Nicola's wrath. So I'd love to present to you today Handel, our solution for next-gen fleet care. Basically, looking at the kind of problems that we're looking to solve, we have a few things. Time and cost. Fleet managers we speak to are having major issues in terms of taking care of their vehicles, ensuring that they're cleaned efficiently and for a low cost, especially in kind of COVID times. You know, cost is a major priority, especially as the number of cleans required is ramped up. Another major issue that we come across is the lack of use of data in driving these decisions. A lot of people that we speak to are basically using pen and paper processes, looking through vehicles manually, spending kind of hours every week, basically planning out, procuring, you know, finding the right supplier for the right area. The last area here, we have user experience. And typically when people are placing orders, you know, they're calling up companies, they're maybe procuring via email. And what we're trying to kind of optimize for is sort of a prime service whereby the user can very quickly order the services that they require. So in terms of the way that we see things going, I mean, ultimately, you know, I think we've touched on this a few times today. You know, there's a real connected opportunity. Vehicles are becoming connected. By 2025, we should likely see that all vehicles being produced are connected. Autonomous vehicles, whether that's kind of level 4 shuttles today or level 5 vehicles, hopefully in the not too distant future. We're seeing the growth of mobility and mobility as a service apps. You know, people are wanting to take multimodal journeys, vehicle sharing options, and lastly, we're seeing the growth of fleets. So whether that's short-term car rentals, you know, car subscriptions, the use of fleets and organizations, we're here to kind of support these 4 key areas. So Handel itself was what we're calling next generation fleet services. We're basically a software platform supporting businesses with vital and eco-friendly services delivered intelligently. Basically, you know, we're just aiming to bring the most cost-effective, highest quality services we can to our users. You know, and ultimately, you know, the cheaper you can make these services, the cheaper you can price the end service to the user. So if that's a car subscription, you know, or I guess even a bus, if you can bring down the cost of the cleaning, those prices can be passed on to the consumer, which means more people get access to mobility, and it opens up opportunities, you know, for people's lives, you know, jobs, socializing, etc. So this is kind of an overview of our approach. I mean, these are the 2 main components of the system as we have it now. Our customer platform, whereby the customer can order the services that they require directly to their vehicle. And then on the other end, we have our service agent application. These are where jobs are managed, prioritized, And basically, we try to do things in a way so that a service agent's time is kind of maximized. You know, at the moment, clients are basically ordering services to multiple locations. It's increasing the price, whereby one service agent might be able to catch all jobs in their route and reduce the overall cost. This is a little bit more about kind of the way that we're thinking about the future of mobility, and it actually extends into infrastructure as we know it. I mean, we're kind of developing things with the Internet of Everything in mind. So, you know, today, connected vehicles, we're seeing, you know, systems being deployed in car parks. We're, you know, seeing the growth of different smart devices. And we feel like the services aren't just limited to fleet, but, you know, into areas such as car parks. I mean, we've done some fantastic projects bringing the types of services that you would expect for a fleet into a car park and really utilizing that car park for services other than just simply parking, you know, turning a car park into a service center or a decontamination area. The way that we approach the platform is we're just focusing on building an API which people can plug into, you know, at the end of the day. As long as the cleaning is high quality, we want to basically enable as many companies as possible to integrate our services and provide the best cleaning that we can possibly provide. So at the moment, this is the way that we view the mobility market. You know, we see ourselves in recurring fleet requirements. We have, you know, these soft services, as we're calling them. You might be able to see here, you know, we've kind of got an icon for hard maintenance, you know, public transport services, autonomous vehicles. And we're focused on this area here between cleaning and soft maintenance, the kind of services that keep vehicles on the road and functioning. You know, I've had disasters before where my car has not been entirely looked after and had breakdowns. And obviously, these are massively costly to an organization. Pulling a vehicle off the road isn't just about the cost of the repair, it's about the cost of business lost, especially when you're thinking about taxi drivers who, you know, that might be a whole night's loss of income if they have these kinds of problems while they're operating. So these are the services that we focus on today: high quality balloting, even COVID-19 decontamination, tire monitoring, you know, RAC, standard safety checks, ensuring that the vehicles are roadworthy, AdBlue, washer, oil, these kinds of things, simple top-ups that maybe are quite time-consuming, which we can integrate into our other packages. And of course, bespoke solutions, the types of which we worked with car parks in order to provide. So bringing on like eco-friendly equipment to operate in areas maybe where you wouldn't normally be able to perform things like jet washing. We allow people to order these things ad hoc or on a subscription basis, but ultimately we just try and work with them in order to deliver, you know, the best value for their money. You know, the more cleaning that we can do for them, ultimately, the more happy they are with the service. So we just try and drive for that, really. This is a bit about our model. We see ourselves as like the technology piece in the middle. On the right here, we have kind of our assured service network that's made up of large providers, small independents looking for a digital interface. On the left, we have fleets and car owners. We're mainly focused on B2B, but we see an opportunity whereby if we're doing lots of B2B work and we can catch a few B2C customers along the way and deliver you know, high quality, cheap balloting for them, then we see it as a win-win all round. And it also helps us better utilize our service agents' time on the road. It should be worth mentioning that, you know, we try not to get contractors through our service network who are on 0 hours contracts. You know, we're trying to fulfill as much time as possible, and ultimately for the service network, help create like, you know, viable jobs. So we connect via our API, and we initiate orders based on, say, user preferences or vehicle data points if they have a connected vehicle. This is a look at some of our clients to date. Recently, we've been collaborating with The Out, powered by Jaguar Land Rover, where we've been helping them to reduce their cleaning costs and also provide high quality cleaning services, working with Border Force, the NHS, Aberdeen and Southampton International Airport, which granted are a little bit quiet for reasons at the moment. And we have also done some work with Getaround as well, helping them to maintain their own fleet of vehicles, as well as the customers or the users on Getaround who manage a few vehicles. So in terms of the average units that we're able to generate, this is what we're looking at. We're operating across Scotland mainly, Inverness, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen, Southampton. London should be in there as well, actually. So, you know, the more units we're able to generate, basically, the cheaper we're able to drive down that cost. Looking into the end of this year, we're looking at expanding into Manchester, Birmingham, and Leeds. And then going forwards, I mean, you know, to date, we've, you know, we started off developing the idea on how we could basically build, you know, services that people really need for their connected cars. We did some experiments with in-car parcel delivery, and over time, this kind of developed into in-car services. But now we're kind of looking to the future. So we have service availability with our service providers to cover the UK, Germany, France, also Ireland. So we basically want to begin to capture some of these areas. Berlin's quite interesting. Obviously, the closer we can get to the auto manufacturers, the better, and integrate into their systems. And then, you know, continue to develop
Jonathan, you need to wrap up soon.
Sure, that's just the second last slide. So developing a platform and ultimately automating the processes involved. So, you know, the more vehicles we can connect to, the better understanding we can build around the real requirements of a vehicle and kind of automate to those needs. And yes, well, thank you very much for listening. So if you have any questions, please fire away. And if this lines up with anything that you're looking at in the future, just fire me a message and we can discuss your vision.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Jonathan.
No problem.
I see Isabel, you have the first question.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a quick one. Sorry, Joe. Yeah, great presentation, and it's great to see that you're working with the Out, which is a sister company to Pivotal. One question I have is, do you see yourselves as a fleet management platform, or are you more about the services that are networked through the platform? Because they're quite different businesses.
Yeah, so we see ourselves as not so much the fleet management platform. I think we would be a plugin for a fleet management platform, you know, something which could be integrated into another system. You know, really our focus is kind of on becoming this load balancer for the different types of jobs that we're fulfilling, and just aiming to optimize on price and delivery for those. So that's where our focus is, and that's how we're kind of developing the platform. If clients have other systems they want to use, we'll just aim to plug into those, and that's kind of what we've done with car parks, for example. They had a system, we just plugged in and allowed them to place orders through their system into ours, and then we just kind of delivered it.
So effectively, it's like Ingenious, which is for vehicle deliveries and logistics. This is similar, but more for the services supporting fleet services.
Yes, precisely.
My question was around expansion. So this is quite, because you need a good network of service providers. So it's quite hard to, or difficult, takes time to do an international expansion. Question mark.
Yes, so at the moment, the suppliers that we have, they cover quite a broad area. So we've been quite lucky in that respect, and we see a lot of potential in the UK and in Europe. I mean, ultimately, you know, with the kind of coverage that we've got, we're good to cover most areas. I think as it gets rural, it gets a bit more difficult, but we're hoping that as we grow, you know, this is where we can begin to bring on more independent suppliers to kind of cover those more rural and sort of niche jobs.
Right. Maybe I have a short follow-up. What is your monetizing model? Because it must be quite slim margins in this.
So, and what we do basically is we take the prices that we're given through our supplier network, and then we just add on I guess a supplement of about between 10 and 20%, depending on basically the scale that we're doing. Lower cost jobs typically will range up to about 20% margin, and then kind of on the high volume ones, that's where we'll kind of tune down to 10%.
And what's your average cost of job?
The average cost of job at the moment, we've been able to deliver, for example, to the Out cleaning at £15 per car, excluding VAT, and that is for inside and outside cleaning. So compared to maybe some smaller providers. I mean, in and around like Southampton, for example, you know, some delivered services were about £60. I think our competition in London via Dropless, I believe that they were charging for a similar service around £17, £18. And on top of that, you know, I might add that the equipment that we're using delivers a superior service. You know, we're using steam cleaning with our suppliers. We're not kind of doing the hand wash and spray, which means that, you know, ultimately it's safer for the cars. There's less risk of scratching, and it means that we can get the job done faster.
I have to cut it here. No, sorry. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for presenting, and the jurors for the questions. And now I will ask the jurors to dial out, and we will have a little jury conference to decide the winners, and then we will dial back in. So give us 10 minutes and we'll be back.
Thank you, Johanna. Just a few words whilst the judges are out to deliberate. Fantastic pictures. I now understand why we had to increase the number of finalists. And I must admit, I don't envy the judges right now. We would like to extend a massive thank you to everyone who entered the competition. The sheer diversity of innovations has been both very interesting and really encouraging for the future of the industry, which I feel is in very safe hands. Supporting these brave, innovative, entrepreneurial enterprises is incredibly important. And we at Automotive EV are delighted to be able to play our part. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank everyone who's joined us across this week. All of you tuning in, whoever you are, a special thanks to all of our expert speakers and a big thank you to our sponsors. I would also like to add the event's not over, and there are still a few great sessions to go. Still lots of networking, and don't forget to catch up with the sessions you may have missed across the week. Or would you like to watch again? Or would you steer someone to also want to watch them? By going back through the event programme, all you have to do is click on the session you would like to view, and it will be available to you. Not just on the platform though, it will be available on the Automotive EV Live site for quite some considerable time. The sheer pace of the industry, I personally find staggering, with so much changing on both the daily and weekly basis, with so many stakeholders and from so many sectors. On that note, I would like to add that we will be back connecting and supporting the industry with another edition of Automotive EV, our global Automotive EV Week, which we will hold between the 7th and 11th of December, where we will be holding another batch of startup awards, and we're going to update our website over the next few days to support this, including a dedicated startup entries portal. We hope you can join us again in December and look forward to the interesting discussions and debates. I really want to emphasize that they've gone away, really, the judges, to deliberate, but to thank them for all the hard work that they've put into this competition to make it ultimately the benefit for you all. As you know, that there are some opportunities for the winner and the two runners-up. The two runners-up will receive a banner to promote their company for a month on the Automotive EV website, and the winner will receive that for the duration of between this event and the one in December, and also have the opportunity to be interviewed, and that interview will then be online. So we're going to go and have a coffee now, I would think, whilst they're out. Good luck, everybody, and a real special thank you for putting yourselves forward and doing it. Thank you.
So the jury is back. We have had an intense deliberation, but to be honest, we've also deliberated during this session, so we had a pretty good idea. First of all, I would like to thank all the companies that were here to present. You did a fantastic job, and we really enjoyed the spread of different solutions. So we had quite a lot to think about and quite a lot to deliberate on, but the decision has been made, and I'm not going to drag it out. So on shared second place, we have Airband and Cap Solar. And the second prize is actually a feature on the Automotive EV website. So you will be featured on there with your company and you as a founding team. So congratulations for that. And
thank you.
Well done, well done. And then as the winners, we actually have days. And the motivation for days was because we found the technology so fascinating, and we think it offers a great option to the current charging infrastructure. Yeah, that's the story behind it. And the winner days, you will be featured in the automotive magazine as well, Automotive EV magazine. So we will come back to you, and there will be an interview with you where you will be featured on the next occasion. Do we have days here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, great. So, but with that said, there is no audience, so there is no clapping, so it's quite unceremonious, this announcement. I apologize for that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, big congratulations to you all, because you were 7 great finalists. I just want to say that, and a particular congratulations to the top 3. You did an excellent job, and we will organize this competition again in December. So for anybody that is now seeing this and has been inspired to apply, please apply for the competition in December. Details will come out. And I would like to thank you, the jury, for their excellent job and their excellent opinions. And I'm sure they're able to provide some feedback if anybody has any questions to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you very much to all of you. Sorry, Ian, I will let you come back now. Just wrap it up at the end. Ian, do you want? I thought you wanted to speak, and I rudely.
No, sorry, I was just saying well done. No, sorry, I was just waving congratulations to everybody.
So special thank you. As a company, we'll get back to you soon with regards to obviously interviews and pieces. We'll be going out next week covering all of the finalists as well in short format. All of the winners will receive or I'll say the 2 runners-up and the winner will receive, from a runner-up perspective, we'll send you the dimensions and we'll put you a supporting banner on the Automotive EV website for a month. And for the winner themselves, they will also have a banner, but all the way through till the next competition. So that will be December. So thank you from our side. Thanks all the judges. And it was really interesting and exciting. And have a good day and keep the innovations coming forward, really. Thank you. All the best.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well done.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.